Average parent, trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.
Brenda's husband locked away in chains. 15 years of struggle and pain. Kids taken away by a faceless form. She rises up in the darkest storm. Her voice touches hearts in a broken state. Podcast waves spark their fight and fate. Brenda's strength like a blazing fire. Inspire the lost to lift their desire. Brenda's cry echoes loud and clear. A warrior's heart, no room for fear. Stand up tall, let no one bring you down. In her voice, their freedom found. Government shadows, secrets untold. Brenda's story, fierce and bold. She helps others break their chains. Together they rise from the ashes of pain. Her husband waits behind iron bars, but Brenda knows they'll reach the stars. Oh, her love unyielding, a beacon bright in the silence of the night. Brenda's cry echoes loud and clear. A warrior's heart, no room for fear. Stand up tall, let no one bring you down. In her voice, their freedom found.
There's a holiday and it's also trafficking day. I hope all is well with y'all. There is a holiday? What holiday? What is this? Middle of June? Ain't no holiday. Holiday. Yeah, well, I would have came on earlier, y'all, but I was taking a little nap. I had been working hard for a couple of days here, and I fell asleep. Woke up to a phone call about 8:30 my time. I don't know what time it is for you there, John, but I got a quarter to 12 here. So yeah, I've been going over some stuff with my husband's case, and kind of noticing how these people were coming out in Florida. I don't know if you've seen these recent things where they're supposedly saving all these kids. These are false. Hey, wet plants. Girl, you up in the night? Yeah, I am, because I had a nap earlier. So now I'll probably be up late. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I figured. Maybe catch some of you guys that are doing some late nights over there, because a lot of times it's hard to sleep, normal hours when you got so much on your mind and everything else. Me and Danielle, we were going back and forth on what background we were going to use for this. We've been still working on it, and Darren made a nice one, and then I never did get to use it. And then I came up with the AI one with the superhero type thing, and that's what I think it's going to take is us being the superheroes, because in reality, I mean, it is just like a comic book or a movie or something like that, because a lot of times we can't count on those people that were put into positions to help us, and they're not following through with it. So we got to take things into our own hands. And I'm not saying that we're going to go out and do anything against the law or anything like that. It's just we let God lead the path, and just pray that he leads us in the right direction of how to expose the injustice that's going on in this country and across the world, with children actually being stolen from their families and taken under the wings of people that are harming them. It just makes absolutely no sense. And to think somebody needs money so bad. Who needs money bad enough to harm children? You got to have a little weird, you have a lot of weirdness going on in your life, and it's got to be sure evil that you would do anything to harm a child just for monetary gain. Let me see. I'm trying not to look up, but I do have it on the screen down here as well. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I like this. I don't know if I feel so beautiful today. I feel kind of fat today, to tell you the truth. I've been not eating as right as I should be. So you know what I like? I like pistachio ice cream. I think I have an addiction to it. And I think somebody else does too, because I live in a little town, and every time I go try to find some pistachio ice cream, it's gone. But I took advantage when I did find it at a different store, and it was a little bit lower price. I'm always up late on Thursday through Saturday. Well, okay. Well, I'm thinking that's why I wanted to go on today, because I don't know what's going on my schedule tomorrow, even though I usually go on Fridays. My son's going to be up here, so I probably will do a late night on Friday if I can get anybody up and running, because my son will be going crashing early. He's got to do his he's got to go work in the morning. He's working 12-hour shifts now, trying to keep up with the bills and everything like this. And I think this is the second time he's done hospitaling in this month. Yeah, he usually only does it once a month, but he's got some new crappy CEO over there making things hard on him. We got to straighten these people out. I called about cybercrime, and they were closed for this holiday. And when I Googled it, that trafficking came up as part of this holiday. What? That's crazy. There's a holiday for trafficking, against trafficking, hopefully. I mean, what kind of holiday is that? A miserable holiday? What do they call that? Why don't they call it misery holiday? I gotta Google that now. Is it a holiday? That is the strangest thing you're telling me right now. And that's what I mean. Sometimes God will just bring these things to your attention, whether you're looking for them or not. And you're like, well, maybe he's showing me this for a reason. Anti-trafficking calendar. Well, trafficking itself isn't a traditional holiday in the celebratory sense. There are days dedicated to raising awareness about human trafficking and advocating for its end. There are some key dates related to anti-trafficking efforts. The World Against Trafficking in Persons observed annually on July 30th. This day is a global effort to raise awareness about the issue of trafficking and promote the protection of trafficking victims' rights. Going through it, I don't see anything for June. Anyways, so yeah, they're saying something about National Human Trafficking Awareness Day on January 11th. They come up with a lot of days, but I don't see how these days are helping any of these problems that are going on across the country, because I've seen no change. In fact, it seems like it's gotten worse, in my opinion, since I've been paying attention to it for the last over 9 years. The entire month of January is designed as a National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month in the U.S., allowing for a focused period of awareness and raising education. Whatever happened to that one they were talking about, it was supposed to be this whole month was, what is it? Nuclear Family Month. And what does that even mean? Let's see. Month. Now I can learn how to spell. Ow. I think I should have changed chairs, you guys. This is going, let me see. June is recognized as Nuclear Family Month in some regions, such as Tennessee, to honor and strengthen the traditional family structure. Well, Tennessee, that's pretty ironic, because they got a lot of stuff going on with stealing children and trafficking children over there. Isn't that coincidental? This design highlights for the importance of a nuclear family, typically consisting of two parents and their children, as a fundamental unit in society. The month is also used to raise awareness about family challenges and promoting healthy family dynamics. Well, why don't they get a hold of us, the people that had our nuclear families destroyed? What about that? You know what, guys? I'm going to change out chairs, because this chair is about to bust my butt. Putting it nicely. Here we go. I got another chair here. Gonna move that one out of the way. I'm coming, guys. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. And it seems like it's getting hot in here. And so how about that heat with you guys? That's what did anybody hear that what was that one guy? Oh my god, I can't even think of his name, but he had that one song. I'm an asshole. ASSHOLE. And then they talk about asshole is somebody that drives really slow in the ultra fast lane while people behind you are going insane. And what was the other one? And then the hottest day of summer, somebody's going around saying, how about that heat? Am I right? It's like, come on. Bringing awareness. We're living it. This is a sure living in the tundra of the heat wave now. Okay. Hello. Oh, so you called about the cybercrime and they were closed for this holiday. Huh. Cybercrime. I'm gonna look more into that, because that's interesting to me. God eaters need that money to corrupt the innocent children. You're telling me. It's the 26th. Yeah, it's till the 26th for 5 minutes for me. My grandson has a very nice red mark, and it was my grandson's class picture in foster care. God dang. That sucks. I'm so sorry about that, Debbie. Same here. Things seem to get worse too. Yep. Things are getting worse, not better. So what was kind of stuff I was getting into? I got paperwork all over the place, guys. Let's see what I got here. Sometimes I got to pull out, because I got too many darn notebooks, and then I have to go back and wonder, well, what notebook did I put that in? So sometimes I have like important notebooks that throughout the years. Now, what is that? I got this one here. This was an old one. this is where I keep track. This is after the kids were taken, and it doesn't have a cover on it anymore. But so it's a calendar as well, and I'd keep track right along with this as where my court dates were and when we went to see the kids. Kept track of all that. I don't know what somebody named. Yep, and a lot of it's empty because I just got tired of keeping track of it. Yeah, and then it goes through. This was like, well, right around 2017. That was a year into the case already. So what is this? One note that I got in here is a good way to keep bugs away: mint, sage, and lemon balm. Yeah, I got some good mint growing over here right by my gate here that I planted, and usually I've had trouble growing anything in that particular spot, but it's doing really well. You need some of that. You need some of that bug away stuff. I know you do. I mean, these gnats and the mosquitoes are starting to get bad. It's because we had this wet weather and we got hot weather, and it's just a breeding ground for these damn mosquitoes. So yeah, I also have I have the cell phone number, I think, or maybe his house number of oh my god, there said she was gonna do it. There she is. There she is.
I was just checking in real quick since I'm cooking. So, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Good to see y'all.
Night cooking. What do you
Spaghetti, my favorite. I'm craving spaghetti.
I haven't had spaghetti in a long time, and sometimes I do that too. Or
I wanted some spaghetti, so that's what. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna cook some spaghetti. So I'm gonna go check it. But I was checking in with you. You good? And I'll be back, y'all.
Okay.
I'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Parmesan cheese for that or what?
No.
I do. I
You
do.
suck. You suck.
I don't have spaghetti though.
I got the meat, I got the spaghetti sauce, and I got the noodles. I'm just missing the cheese.
Sauce yourself? Did you make the
sauce?
I
Yep.
like the sauce. How about
Oh,
you?
look, I'm a sucker for Italian food. I love spaghetti now. You would think I was going to come out of spaghetti noodle. I love spaghetti.
I love spaghetti too, but I stopped eating because
that sounds good. You hear Wet Plant? She's smoking chicken tomorrow.
Ooh.
Look, that sounds good. I'll be right back. Okay? I'll be right back.
You know what? I got one of those chickens at Walmart, those pre-cooked ones, and if you wait till later in the day, they mark them down to like $2. I mean, how do you get a chicken? Like, you can't even get a whole raw chicken for that price, but you're getting a whole chicken already cooked and flavored and everything, and you're only paying $2 if you wait till the end of the night, but they know they're not going to sell it and they mark that price down. And then you could take it. Yeah, I make soup out of it. Make some chicken salad, whatever. I mean, oh man, are you cooking a whole chicken or you got chicken pieces? That's adventurous to cook a whole chicken, because Chris liked to do something like that. He'll put it through the spindle and spin it around. That man loves to cook out. Love to cook out. We always used to cook over wood. But over here, as far as like finding wood or branches that would be good for cooking food, no, it's not working out. Sorry about my hair, guys. What are you gonna do? I got to feed the babies before it goes on sale, sadly. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Man. Yeah, well, now since we don't have good wood to cook over, I had gotten some charcoal. I mean, I really like it over wood, and I like the right kind of wood. I find that when we lived north of here, we had the mulberry trees and those branches. Oh my god, that was good to cook your meat over some mulberry sticks. That was very good. And I like to throw some sprigs of like rosemary in there when I'm cooking it or whatever. I always have rosemary on hand. In fact, half of my bush, I can tell you, I have a bush planted out front of rosemary. Half of it was dead. Why? Because there was wasp living in there. They're sucking the life out of my rosemary. So I just cut a whole bunch off. Guess what? Now I have dried rosemary. I could just, throw it in some bottles and it's already ready to go. Oh yeah, that's the best part. You might as well just do the breast. I mean, that's all I'd like to eat. Like I say, even with those whole chickens, I like to. Ooh-wee, I like me some white meat. That's for sure. But yeah. So what is this? Something I have down about the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting and establishment of religion, prohibiting a free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, right of the people to assemble and to petition the government for the redress of grievances. Okay, so this is like I say, this is the First Amendment, and this is what I don't understand is how easily these courts can violate your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, your 14th Amendment rights, and they're violating every dang right we have, and nobody's made such a fuss about it till now. I think people have made fuss, and then all of a sudden, oh, they disappear off the face of the earth. I mean, I've seen that happen over and over again. The particular county where all this stuff happened to me, Chris, and my children, there was another man just a couple years before that. He, had this whole thing where, he wanted to be like we the people. Some type of thing where they studied the court rules and regulations and stuff like that. I'm telling you, they ended up throwing this guy in prison from Dixie County. He was a veteran. He was older than Chris is. Wanted to speak, about our rights, our constitutional rights and stuff like that. He stood up in a courtroom where it was called to court, the judge, even though there was like 3 to 4 witnesses. His name was Terry Trussell. You can check it out, Dixie County, Florida. There was witnesses that he was there present in the courtroom, and the judge there told him, I'm going to arrest you for attempt or what do they call it? Contempt of court for not being here today. So that's what the kind of court that we've have dealt with throughout all these years when we tried to, just move out of the state, even though I had no idea where my children might have ended up. I had provided them with our numbers and hoping one day that they would have the ability to get to a phone and use them. But nobody knows what, where, or when. There's people that know. People like Jason Katz, he knows where my kids are. That's why he wants to act a fool and keep, bullying and harassing us every step of the way, so that we go out of our mind and that we don't continue on our quest to save the children. And I won't back down. It's just like that song, that Tom Petty song. I won't back down. I think it's a Canadian holiday here. Oh, yeah, that could be. Well, like I said, probably what I was looking up is just the United States stuff. I didn't even think about that as deciphering between the two. Dark meat makes me tired. Turkey will make you tired no matter what kind of meat it is. Boy, and you throw some sage in your turkey gravy, oh my God, you might as well say good night. Good night. I like to make some sage stuffing. Oh, man. I love me some turkey once in a while. We used to have it, I don't know how many times a year. I'd say we'd have it 8 times a year. Loving that turkey. I mean, it's good meat for you if you are a meat eater. I'm trying not to eat so much meat. I'm trying to stay. I can eat beans. I can get my protein in other ways. Sometimes, sometimes I get sick of the meat. And though, you know what? Since my son's going to be here tomorrow, I did get some. I got some steak. I seen some steak on sale over here, Super One. So that'll be a surprise for him. We'll have some steaks tomorrow night. Even though, probably paid way too much. But what I was thinking on deciding whether or not to get these steaks. I'm like, if I went to a restaurant and had them cook my food for me, I'm going to be paying the same price as I can buy for these steaks, and I'll be ahead of the game, because once in a while it's nice to have a nice steak. Ay, ay, ay. Well, so what else did we want to get into? But I was talking about, looking through at some of my own stuff, and this Judge William Slaughter, he was the judge on our TPR trial only, that's termination of parental rights, and he had no idea what was going on. He was a retired judge. They brought him in, and I have his telephone number still, and I think they're still good. And even after my rights were terminated, this judge was, he's completely honest with me, and I got to give it to him. He was straightforward, okay, because he let me know that the reason that he called for the termination of my rights was because he had to go with what was in front of him. And these attorneys that were court appointed to us, I mean, they weren't giving them the stuff that they should have been giving them, they didn't. And how are you going to throw somebody into a case like this that's been going on for a year and a half and has no idea? And it seems like the only person running the show is the Department of Children and Families. And then you have your court-appointed attorney in a courtroom whispering in your ear saying the judge isn't going to buy what that DCF attorney is saying. Well, it seems like they were buying it, because look where we ended up. Absolutely nowhere. But yeah, that was William Slaughter, and he's in Live Oak. But to me, he's probably another victim of these crimes that have been going on in the Third Circuit in Dixie County. So yeah, the other problem I have is with this guy that wants to, be somehow putting his nose into my business. How many years after my case is over? He's not even a CPS worker anymore. As far as I understand it, this Jason Katz, he used to be child protective investigator, okay, and then he started working for this Partnership for Strong Family, okay. So DCF, okay, it's the same damn thing. They're using the partnership, or what they want to throw this Partnership for Strong Families, make up some name that makes it seem some normalcy to what they're doing, because what it's really called is Devereaux. And a lot of these places are going, even though it is Devereaux, they're using other names to cover up the fact. And if you look closely enough on your paperwork, or somebody maybe hands you a little note in that office one day, and you notice, hey, this says Devereaux on it. What the hell is Devereaux? It happens to be that where they're institutionalizing these children that have delays and everything else. And like what happened down in Pennsylvania with the Devereaux, and all that's when that Kids for Cash thing was going on. And that's what I don't understand. When that Kids for Cash, have anybody ever seen that tape of these attorneys talking where they were going to put their money they were getting off these kids? And they're the ones that came up with the name Kids for Cash. Okay. Well, what I'm wondering about them is and now I don't even know where I was going with that. But, anyways, so that's just lost my train of thought there, guys. Oh, but, that's what I'm getting back to this guy, and then now this Jason Katz, he, for some reason, is not happy enough that now my husband is imprisoned. He was trying to get me violated on my probation like 3 times. What is his business? What we're doing now when we're living in Louisiana, minding our own business. Okay, you already took my kids. Okay, but you must have something to hide if you want to keep on keeping on with wondering what I'm doing and worried about who I'm calling. Because all I'm doing is getting my court media and my FOIA requests, and that's what's stirring up the problems. Well, that's my God-given right to be able to get these things without any interference from this piece of crap, this goddamn piece of scum of the earth wants to continue to bully and harass my family after you've already taken half of my family away from me. Is now you're happy now that I'm sitting over here all by myself while my husband's being treated inhumanely in this prison? I bet you, things like that. You would just wonder, do they have like some kind of satanic parties about how they ruin people's lives? It's just disgusting, so disgusting. Well, what else, guys? We got anything else going on? I'm probably putting everybody to sleep over there. Is what's happening. Oh, look at this. This is a nice thing my son made. This is Dr. Science-Based Holistic Mood Management. It has some breathing exercise, walking 30 to 60 minutes daily outside. Sun and plants help decrease stress hormones. Like he says, going out there, getting some sun, messing around with your plants outside. Distress with stretching or yoga for 15 minutes daily, 1 to 2 minutes per session. Exercise movement helps to decrease stress and hormones that build up in the body. Tense up relax exercises for 5 to 10 minutes. You tense up your muscles for 5 seconds and then release and repeat. Recommended to find a therapist that practices in CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy or self-learned CBT method. So this is something my son made, and it's like, look at it, it shows the little exercises and stuff. And these are different things you can do to keep keep active. That's what they keep saying. Yoga poses that melt away stress is what it says. Also consider an online therapy, something called BetterHelp app by Dr. David Burns, science-supported method to treat anxiety and depression. So it helps you feel good. And who doesn't want to feel good these days? Come on. What, Danielle popped in and out? Did she eat her spaghetti yet? She letting it cool off? I got your Parmesan cheese right over here. Damn, I've been thinking about making some sauce myself. So what is this I got in front of me here? It's Section 242, okay? It's 18 U.S.C. 242 is applied, and 241 applied as a matter of law. It was adopted as a codification of prior law in the 1874 during the period of Reconstruction in the aftermath of the Civil War. It criminalizes without further definition, willful deprivations of any rights protected by the Constitution, committed by any other person under the color of law. United States versus Lenar, 1996, and in 1945, in 325 U.S. 91, the Supreme Court in the United States versus Whitberger, 18 U.S. 76, 93 through 94, 1820, the court held no matter how outrageous a defendant's conduct may be, he has to be charged with the appropriate offense created by federal law. Court may not create or extend criminal law by using a common law process of interpretation. I like cheddar. You like cheddar on your spaghetti. But are you melting that on there and isn't it getting stringy? Because that's what I find when I use cheddar and have it melt on, all I can know if I give it to my son, he's going to have that cheese all strings all in his beard. But I do like, oh my gosh, I love, how about a grilled cheese, man? Yeah, oh my God, it's been a minute since I had some grilled cheese. You know, when they threw me in prison and I ended up having to work in like slave labor in the kitchen up over there, ended up, yeah, that was another episode I had of passing out. But besides that, it did have benefits of working in the kitchen. Once in a while, all the inmates that work there towards the end of the day before we closed up, we'd make grilled cheese sandwiches, and oh my God, you know that tasted so good. To us after eating, you know, crap for years and years. And this one girl knew that I liked the onions. And did anybody ever have a grilled cheese sandwich and put like sliced up onions on it and dip it in some tomato soup? I love that. That is one of my favorite things. I don't know why I like onions on there. My husband wouldn't like onion on it because it's going to be him that onion flies out of a sandwich and burn his lip. And that'll be the last of time he'll ever try to eat. Oh, my Lord. Let me see. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, okay. So this tells you a little bit about that. In 2014, the U.S. Attorney filed criminal indictments under 18 U.S.C. 242 against judges for violating the civil rights of children. Hey, what are you doing? You gonna make yourself little? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so civil rights of the children before them to an impartial tribunal, and the Kids for Cash scandal with severe criminal penalties, 27 and 17 years in prison respectively. Here, defendants, judges, and the defendants are charged with the appropriate offense created by federal law. And again, that's 18 USC 242 and 241 for violation of these rights, and more impartial tribunals recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1923 in the Meyer, I'm not sure how you say that, Meyer case. But yeah, that's something else with that Kids for Cash thing, and how they've let this continue after, do they think, Danielle, you got anything new that's happening in the news, like what's happening over there in Florida? You got those things going on in Florida with the they said supposedly rescuing all these kids and whatnot. Let me see. Let's just look it up, see what's happening in the news. What's going on with this
I was
guy?
trying to bring it up on here to share the screen, but it's not working.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember how to do it. Look, this is bad. This is bad, Danielle. Damn it.
that's why I've been just using, turn down the brightness of my phone. Sometimes I've just been playing it off the phone.
Oh, here we go. I can do it now. Here we go.
Okay.
Well, I thought I could. Hold on. We'll figure it out. I got something here. We're doing something, guys. Sorry.
What do you got?
I'm being an idiot. That's all I'm doing.
Jeez.
It's okay. It's not nothing special, Hey, run it.
Special.
Yeah, I'm special. All right.
So special.
I'm special.
You're special.
I'm a special, Brenda. I'm special.
What is
All right,
this?
let's see. 60 kids. Can you see anything on the screen yet or no? No, of course not. Look, who does that? That's only me. It's okay.
Do we have to see it, or can we just listen to it? How about that?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to play it on there. I can't believe I forgot how to do this shit. This is bad. This is pathetic of me. How dare me do this? Do you have any videos you want me to play on here?
It says the fear of the Lord.
Well, this is a
Where are
little.
you at, Brenda?
I'm just looking at this little short. Oh, listen to this. So maybe I could just play it while you're getting ready.
I gotta go in there and stir my meat. That's what I gotta do.
It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Now, the Bible verse of today is Proverbs 9 and 10. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Now, the Bible verse of today is Proverbs 9 and 10.
They're talking about Proverbs 9 and 10. You know,
Trying to figure out how to share my screen. I'm an idiot.
God has given a capacity and a responsibility.
Oops. What did I do? What happened?
Let me see.
Hold on.
Who's got anything going on here?
Why are you falling asleep? That's not cool.
I'm yawning.
Oh, whoa.
But
Watch it.
it's sitting on my ass all day.
Brenda is. Whoa. Your what? Your bunghole? What?
My
Girl.
My butt is busted.
No, ma'am. There will be none of that, ma'am. I can't do it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That's what it is. If I sit too much, then like the leg,
I don't know how to do
the leg that
it.
meets up to my butt, that really gives me a lot of pain if I sit on my butt too much.
But you can't do that. Are you sitting on your butt too much, Brenda?
Sick of the scams. What is this? 1 hour ago. Let me see what this is. Oh no.
What the hell was that?
That was a door squeaking. Some commercial.
Who's coming in your door, Brenda?
Oh, they're
Children are starving to death because of Israel's
What is it?
blockades. Yeah, starving to death. And I brought forth 2 resolutions, which basically were very simple, and said no more U.S. military aid to Israel under these conditions.
Oh no.
One vote got 15 votes in the Senate, the other one got 16. Do you think that members of the Senate do not know what's going on in Gaza? The kids are starving to death. The innocent people are being shot down right and left. They know it. Why do you think I couldn't get more votes?
They wouldn't vote against Israel.
Right.
It's political suicide.
Now you're talking.
Right.
All right. So in the Republican side, you have moneyed interests saying you speak up against Trump, you're out of here. In the Democratic side, you speak up against the Netanyahu government, you're out of here as well. And they have been successful. You have super PACs like AIPAC spending a fortune. You stand, and they have already knocked off a number of members of good members of Congress, and they will do it again. So all I'm saying is you got a corrupt campaign finance system on both sides, which is rejecting the will of the American people and end up supporting powerful special interests. And if we do not get a handle on that issue, I worry very much about the future of American democracy.
Whoa, very powerful words from Senator Bernie Sanders there. And what is so remarkable is that he's having this conversation with Joe Rogan,
Right.
of all people, which I think is fabulous because millions of Americans need to hear this message. Hi, my name is Suri Crow, and you're watching the Midas Touch Network.
I don't know
Most
what
Americans have no idea just how powerful
that
love
was
is.
weird. I did see that the other day, how Joe Rogan was doing an interview with them. That was surprising. Fed up Americans strike back at Trump billionaire gifts. What is this? What's in the news today, guys? I haven't even been keeping up with this stuff because I got so much going on. What else is going on in the news tonight? Look at Danielle. She's getting out of there completely. She's like, oh, Brenda's playing Bernie Sanders. What's going on?
Tonight in New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., this severe thunderstorm watch as we come on right now.
What about that thunder chaser?
As the heat moves out, Lee Goldberg is here. Also breaking the robbery at Brad Pitt's home, smashing their way in.
Oh.
And tonight, the images right here, the mysterious fireball seen in the sky over several states. Multiple calls to 911 and you'll see it. First tonight, the severe storms and the tornado watch tonight. Multiple tornadoes.
What about
already.
that?
One home
Hurricane
lifted up off the
Hoochie?
ground, a 76-year-old woman inside. She survived this. Nearby homes destroyed.
Oh, that's
And
a
in the
pretty good
Northeast,
footage.
this severe thunderstorm watch. Lee Goldberg has the full forecast. Just in tonight, the break-in at the LA home of actor Brad Pitt.
good Lord.
Scaling a wall, smashing their way in. What was done inside? Our reporter at the
That
scene
makes
for
the
us.
news, doesn't
Tonight,
it?
the images,
That's
that mystery
what's going on with the
fireball
kids.
over
Look at that.
multiple states. Drivers startled by a bright light streaking across the sky. Some reported shaking and hearing a boom. Was it a meteor? Was it space junk? A piece of it came crashing through someone's roof, cracking the floor inside their home. Tonight, Iran's supreme leader saying the White House exaggerated the damage done at Iran's nuclear sites. Tonight, the Pentagon with new findings here and revealing they'd been studying this plan of a possible strike on Iran for 15 years, saying
What's going on?
bombs exploded exactly as planned.
So did you hear about this boom? Because that's kind of funny. Because my neighbor texted me today. Did you hear that boom earlier? And I'm like, I didn't know what she was talking about. I wonder where that happened at, because I didn't. Where was the boom? Where was the boom? And who's doing the boom? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
That was over here. That was a meteorite, like running, like flying, and yeah, it did that from the sky. Yeah, they said it was a
That's what it
meteorite.
looked like to me. It looked like a meteorite, but one hell of a
Yeah, they said it was. That's one hell of a meteorite. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I give up. Not really. I will never back down. You can't make me.
So somebody's saying that this Diddy may be walking free. What would you think about that if that happened?
Man, look. That shall we? Okay, who wants to speak French, Latin, or whatever? Because it's not cool. Hey, Dr. Death, welcome in. Everyone can hear me. So there's Brenda taking up the whole screen.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure this out, man.
He has a little piece
Look,
on the screen.
I'm gonna go check. Yeah, I gotta go check my meat real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Oh my
Give me 1
God,
second.
it's huge. That's okay. Brenda's huge. She's huge, and we've got the huge news right here. Okay, I'm just kind of going through and seeing what kind of stuff we got going on in the news, which doesn't seem like that's what I'm wondering, is a lot of the stuff that they go through and talk about. I mean, geez Louise. Who's this guy? Is pretty good. What is this guy?
Is your child struggling with a gaming addiction?
Oh boy. And if I hear one more commercial on this gaming addiction, I'll be about
Good evening,
better.
Patriots, and welcome to the Ben Dykes channel, where we cut through the noise, get to the truth that the mainstream media will not touch.
See, what has he got going on?
Donald Trump has just come out and released information that Democrat lawmakers purportedly leaked classified intelligence on the U.S. strikes in Iran. President Trump says the Democrat leaks were dubious, dangerous, and top secret. This was all CNN. The Iran intelligence report leak may have come from Congress, per Caroline Levitt, and Kash Patel is now leading the investigation with polygraphs. That's right. Polygraphs are happening right now. They're going to find out who did this. And this person, in my opinion, should go to prison for the rest of their lives, because they put American soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines' lives in danger by doing that.
Well, so you know what, I got to say about that, that I would agree with that. But what I would agree with first is let's get these, let's get some polygraphs on these CPS workers and these judges that are condemning these children into these abusive foster placement. Can we get them on some polygraphs? Wouldn't that be great? I'm going to start with the color of law formed here tomorrow. Well, color of law. Oh, all right. Well, like I said before you got here, I was talking a little bit about the color of law. Let me see. That's what we're talking about, is possibly, the U.S. attorneys it would be great if we could just get these U.S. attorneys to indict these numerous judges and court-appointed lawyers in all of these states across the country, especially, we did extensive research on Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, extensive research in We got the Colorado. Pretty much we're gathering parents all over this United States and beyond to say, hey, like again, it's just like it's like a freaking movie. We're mad as hell. We're not going to take it anymore, and we're going to take it with our pens because the pen is truly mightier than the sword. But again, I was talking about the mothers and fathers are lined up to submitting identical civil rights violations as Kemp on judges in every state, just like the two judges for the Kids for Cash in 2014 scandal in Pennsylvania, no impartial tribunals. The mothers and fathers demand enforcement of the 18 USC 242 and 241 against dependency judges in each jurisdiction in conspiracy with the court-appointed attorneys who intentionally violated civil rights under the color of law, meeting the elements of the federal crime under 18 USC 242 and 241. The kidnapping under the color of law will not end, and due process will not be protected until guilty judges and lawyers are arrested and behind bars. And then after that, we can go on to the CPS workers and these people that work in this DCF. And don't forget about those Department of Children and Families attorneys that are standing up in the court with their bull crap coming out of their mouth, okay? Because they're perjuring themselves in a court of law. At no time did I have any opportunity to cross-examine our accusers on the children's case, and for that matter, the criminal cases or anything like that. Okay, no time. And every time you step into that courtroom on these dependency cases, you should be able to, you have a right to know your accusers and to cross-examine them. Am I right?
Yeah, you know what? Holy Toledo. I can hear myself on both. I got both of them going.
It sounds
but due process and equal protection. Think about it. They're violating families' constitutional rights left and right. They've been doing it since the beginning of time.
Right.
I mean, think about Georgia here being under that improvement plan that HHS set on them. Hey, Dr. Death. And that HHS put on them back in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they failed, but that they weren't talking about it. But John Ossoff did that investigation. They're still violating due process, permanency and family preservation, child safety, equal protection, the 14th Amendment. I mean, it's still ongoing issues.
Right.
Are we ever going to fix it? I mean, we all got to come together as one. That's
so,
the thing.
yeah, and it's a thing.
Are we ever going to be able to come together as one?
Because there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the American child welfare system is a secret $40 billion nationwide kidnapping operation defined in federal law as unauthorized confinement, okay, led by thousands of dependency judges and court-appointed lawyers. The unauthorized confinement in foster care ordered by judges without impartial tribunals in violations of the 5th and 14th Amendments over 40 years to qualify states to collect Title 4E foster care funds, a staggering $30 billion each year for foster care. 400,000 children kidnapped by dependency judges in conspiracy and with these court-appointed attorneys. What do you guys think about that? I mean, that's really some high numbers when it's coming to these crimes that are going on with the children. The number of children, kidnapped children as defined as judge ordered unauthorized confinement in the foster care since 1990 exceeds 12 million. The price tag for state foster care, 12 million children kidnapped by the state, exceeds a whopping 1.7 trillion and growing. The vast majority of state kidnapped children are SA brutally beaten 10 times more than non-kidnapped children, creating fodder and for prisons and prostitution paid for by Title 4E, and a whopping 30 billion each year, and probably more.
Hold on. Ugh. Whoops.
So,
let me get this thing on Bluetooth. I'm gonna just get out of this one.
So Danielle likes to eat spaghetti in the middle of the night. Spaghetti.
Are you still there?
Middle of the night. Yeah, we're here. We are here.
Hold on. How long?
You know, it says that some people will compare it to The Handmaid's Tale on. I don't know if anybody ever seen that movie. But I do see, you know, that's what I've seen some similarities of how the mother in that show went above and beyond to go find her children and to get her children back. I mean, she went.
There you are. Him and you tried to call me. Oh, my phone's been acting up. I'm in the process of getting another phone, so y'all bear with me. I should have another phone by the end of the week, which is today. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
My phone's messing up, you know what I mean?
I tell
the phone is up.
Over here. Look at this.
Still here with y'all. I'm just going to be on, I'm trying to cook this food. But, you know, what's it going to take for us to get the attention? What's it going to take for all of us to come together? What's it going to take? What can we do for all of us to come together? Operation CPS Takedown. That's what I said. You know, it's not like we're going to go, like, no, like, stealth mode. You know what I mean? Like, hey! We're not going to be like, no major hate. That might be what it takes.
Some people are saying, you know, let's fill you up. Let's get us some appointments, like in DC. Like some people say,
think about it. Look at everything that's happened. Look at everything that's happened with everybody that has not been so successful. But then again, it wasn't about who is going to be the first person to the finish line, and whoever is going to be the one that's going to be the instead of thinking about ourselves, we got to think about a whole. You know, everybody's thinking about it as they get who's going to be the leader of the pack. Screw that shit. We don't need a leader. We need to come together. We don't need no leader. We need to come together, and that's the problem. Everybody's being selfish. Like the ones that they're thinking about who is going to be the leader, who's going to be the one to come out at the end of this, instead of thinking about the brighter picture of let's get our kids home, let's get these families back together. Screw the leadership part. We don't need no leader. We can do this together, and that's the problem that we're having. So what's it going to take for parents nationwide, even worldwide? Because I mean, this is a freaking crisis. Dan. This ain't no isolated incident. This ain't no isolated problem. This is something that is been going on for decades. And I'm talking, come on, y'all. Think about back in the 1920s, Georgia Tann. Look at that crap with the nurse and the foster homes then. The orphanages, you know? Think about it. Georgia Tann. Did y'all hear about the nun or whatnot that was over there in another country that they found all them babies? Did you see that?
I mean, that's happened in history.
800 babies dead.
That's happened in history before. A very similar story about when they found all the.
It's happening right now. Mm-hmm. But it's like we're reliving it all over again. Like it's gonna be just in a new day and age. It's like we're reliving a new time to make new history. You know, making a whole new world. I mean, making it's like we're restarting a book. No, we gotta end this, y'all. This is a time in this world that I would never thought we would be involved in, like a game changer. Never in my life I thought the movies were gonna come true. You know, well, guess what, y'all? We're living in reality. This ain't no joke. This is real life shit going on. These kids are being trafficked. These kids are losing their lives. These kids are being unalived. Families are being torn apart. And something's got to be done because you know what it is? The states. The federal government. Trump is handing it to us, y'all. Okay, think about it. We got to call the states out, and it's going to be us that does it. Because think about it. Biden just signed that new thing for Title 4B. Back in January, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Remember that, Brenda? We were talking about that a while back. Well, in that order, and that's the federal law, and it's in effect. Well, in that, poverty is not supposed to be a reason to say, well, why aren't they still doing it? Why are they now TPRing people over in the first 3 months? Like, why is the guardian ad litem's pushing for TPRs? What the hell is going on? Because you know why? As parents aren't voicing ourselves as much as we should be. We got to be the voice to make these heart knockers implement these laws. For them to implement, we got to be the ones to voice it, to make them implement and put into effect the federal law, to start to implement it, to put it into action, to put it into play. Otherwise, they're going to let it sit there, and we're just going to keep being walked up all over, and this is just going to be a revolving door. That's all it is. We got to be the people. Okay? You get what I'm saying? I've said this plenty of times over the last 2 years. And now I feel like I'm in deja vu because everything I said 2 years ago, I'm saying it again. And you know what? I should have stuck with my gut and went along with what I thought back then, and maybe I'd be further than I am now. But you know, it's rough. It's rough. I lost my mom and my son all in the same time. You know, having to get my brother, and I'm still not right. I'll never be right again. Nobody. How the hell are we supposed to come back from this? Probation, everything else, the environment, the people around me. Shit. When you got haters that want to sit there and make somebody miserable and fuck with somebody's life, it gets old. You know. But you know what? These are involving kids, dude. This is kids. These kids don't need to be with some other family. They need to be home with their families. Unless that kid is in imminent danger, which I can promise you there are more kids out there that are in danger right now as we speak, that these so good people have overlooked. And I can tell you some right now. Shit. That don't even deserve their kids. It's people like that want to sit there. As a matter of fact, my family member today, she's having a baby. She had some hater on Facebook want to sit there and say that they're going to threaten her with CPS. I said, excuse me? I dare you. No, damn pedophile. Come on now. No. Don't. That's the 3 magical letters. All you got to do is say that in there. Look, you want to spark my flower? Let's run it. I'll be damned. Ain't nobody ever deserve to have people call on them anonymous because they want to be doing some dumb shit, you know? And then, like I told that person, I said, you need to go look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself what the hell is wrong with you, for one thing. For 2, why in the hell would you do that to a child? Why? Just because you're spiteful and you're a lowlife? Oh, that's what they call scum of the earth. That's what they call scum. That's what they call trash. If people like that, well, you know what? They're not going to be anonymous anymore. Texas and New York have stepped up. And the other states hope they better, but it's got to be us to fucking voice it. Yeah, I'm cussing like a sailor. I don't need to be cussing. I need to go wash my mouth out with soap. I'll be right back. Just kidding. Shame on me. I need to be put in timeout. Look, I'm going back to timeout now. I'm just kidding. But think about it, y'all. What is it gonna take? What's it gonna take? Y'all tell me what's up. Anybody out there? I know y'all can hear. I know people watching. I know I got my regulars in here. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? I'm not ignoring nobody, I swear. But this is driving me nuts.
What's this guy saying?
You got Tanawa Downing up there that was supposed to take off 500,000, and I'm not hating on nobody. But you know what? Where was the case that he was supposed to have? You know? Come on, man. Now you're wanting to go to county commissioners. Why couldn't you do this at the beginning? You know what? I want to go to these district attorneys for the states in your district. Go to them first, and then go to our local counties. Run it. I'm ready. Let's go to the district attorney and say, hey, this is what's up, this is what's going on, and this is what's going to happen in this county.
Where the missing children are. Talk about politics, I'm going to ask where the missing children are. Ask me about religion, I'm going to ask you where the missing children are. Ask me about anything, and I'm going to ask you, where are the missing children? The 460,000 children that go missing, 10 to 20% of which are never found, 40 to 80,000 missing children that are never recovered in America, doesn't sit right with me. Take into consideration all of the other countries and all the other numbers that I presented to you overall in Europe.
That's it, right?
Where are
the children?
Right? Where's the kids?
Where are? That's one thing about me. When they come to my youngins, they go. I'm like I am. I will know what they're doing at all times, whether they know it or not, because I'll be damned. And that's one promise that you know, I asked my family for help back over a decade ago, and they stepped up and helped and protected my kids. And I couldn't ask for a more of a better thing to keep my kids out of the state's hands until my mother passed away. Mom kept her word up until the day she was no longer here, and just to know people's true colors come out. But you know what? What would provoke that? What would they gain from it besides the money, right? This is our own families, our own people, the people that we thought we were close to. No. Why? What the hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with the world nowadays? What the hell is wrong with everyone? Why aren't people stepping up and voicing themselves like we should be? I can do it. You can do it. Our little group can do it. But guess what? We got 50 states. We got 400,000 kids nationwide, and then you got kids worldwide. How many kids are missing still? How many kids are missing still? And how many kids are they still trafficking now? How many kids are they trying to still take? How many kids are still missing, and how many are unknown of where they're at? Where are these kids' whereabouts? How many kids are still, they're finding kids left and right, man. Florida, how many did they find? Tampa Bay, they found 60. Come on now. These kids are right. They could be your neighbors going on with these underground sex trafficking rings. Come on, y'all, think about it. Right here in my hometown, right here in the city next to me, I was almost caught up in a sex trafficking ring with a wrestler, a WCW. He got fired and named Hardbody Harrison, and kind of find out this guy is in prison now for life for running a sex trafficking ring, and I never knew it. Thank God my mother was so protective as she was when I was 16, 17 years old. That's true life stuff. This is true life shit. He was right, and go look him up. Hardbody Harrison, 2002 to 2007. You'll see. And the women that I looked at when I was over there doing the wrestling, I was still in high school. He was running a sex trafficking ring. He was running, and he got in trouble for trafficking. And they talk about the young victim. Well, guess what? I was the youngest victim. But thank Lord my mother stood her ground. I may have been pissed off at her, but you know what? I thank her for it now. Because where would I be? If my mom signed that contract, where the hell would I be? I'd be gone somewhere and laid. There ain't no fucking telling. This guy was beating these women, and he was holding them hostage, and you would have never known that. He used to be a wrestler for WCW. He used to be a professional wrestler.
This was a little clip I did of what's
Everybody here.
Hold on.
It's true life shit. It's true life stuff. This is reality. I mean, if I'm sitting here telling you stories, my brother even remembers this stuff when I was out there doing it. But I would. Just gone.
Smaller. I guess
What, Brenda? What happened?
Hold on, I'm gonna play this real quick.
You got a lot of.
You can get it going.
And then learning from something or towards something. but oftentimes get into a more dangerous situation. Just because a young person ran away or just because someone
How are they talking about?
was at risk. At a command center, partner agencies are gathering information and working leads on the missing kids to then pass on to the officers in the field. We know that when the missing kids are at risk. Is the director of intervention for the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice. She says trafficking happens in every county and
Yes, it does. Think about it. Look at my son's story. When my son got sent out of state, right there, that's trafficking. That is trafficking. It was without my consent. It was definitely against my son's will, because, I mean, hello. And nothing. And they just totally sent him out of state for no reason. When apparently his family's here, he's never been out of state and he's never been away from family, and they're gonna send my son to a totally different environment, which could open the door for them to do whatever to my son. And guess what? They did.
See, Dr. Dunson's saying that he told him and his wife that he wants to come home.
Yeah. See?
My kids were telling the judge they wanted to go home. And then she promised him that they would, even though she didn't know when, but she says,
something's got to happen. Something's got to happen quick, because these kids, they're retaliating even more, Brenda. And like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's beyond the point of mediation now. There's kids that have lost their lives, parents that have unalived themselves. For what? Just so they can gain whatever they're doing. I mean, bragging about their Gucci purses and their vacations. I mean, it's sick. What do they gain by getting off over kids? I just want to know. That's sick. They get to sit at home with their kids for dinner. They get to spend their birthdays with their kids, their families. Why in the hell can anybody else?
That's what, and that's the problem. Dr. Dutt says we need to going to the media about this stuff. But the thing is that we have been going to the media.
I got the media.
Maybe you, yeah.
The new lady that did my story about my son, she's OG and she's ready.
See, and that's what I think it takes a lot of times is these local news.
Sylvia Beachy's another one. With Rescue the Fosters. July 2nd, I'll be on her show. And I'm telling you right now, I think Georgia's about to be lit up. Because I know as parents, we're fed up with it. The due process, I mean, come on. We don't even have a chance to freaking defend our children in court. We don't even have that. That's due process. 14th Amendment. Hello, everybody's got rights. You got rights. You ain't TPR. You have, and you got a First Amendment. That's your God-given rights. Your freedoms. Hello. That's one right they can't take away as being a parent. Is parenting your child. That is a God-given right, and they cannot take that from you. And the thing is, when is everybody going to step up? When is everybody going to step up and shout out? Because that's all we're waiting for. Right, Brenda?
Yeah, I'll be here. I just got it.
So I mean, y'all hear me, everybody? I mean, I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to cook this. I hear y'all. I see you. Needs to start going out to social media. That's why this platform's here, so we can get this out. People want to share their stories and everything. But my thing is it's coming to a boil, y'all. It's coming to a head. Something's about to happen, and I can feel it. And I don't know what. I can't say what or when or what, how it was going to be good or bad. I just know something is. I have a feeling. I want to say I hope it's really good. You know how these people are.
Yeah, and it seems like more than just you is thinking the same thing. It's like we feel
people should get off their high horses and act and stop wanting to be the leader of the pack, and we all gotta do it together. It's just that's what the answer is. That's what we gotta do. We got to come together as one at one time, one day, at the same time. Call these and nationwide, even worldwide.
Right.
Is it going to be able to be? Is it possible? Go, Tina, go, baby, go. I'll teach you that. Go. You done ate. Oh, let me get some water. Oh, poor doggy.
That's the thing.
I mean, y'all think it's ever going to be possible?
Right.
Because I ain't scared of the haters. That's something I ain't scared of, the haters. I don't give a crap about the haters. They're my motivators. And how many of them tried to stop me for the last 2, 3, 10 years? Okay, bring it. Anybody else? Line up. Join the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
The thing is, if you want to step in the way of someone bringing the fight for children, you messed up. You messed up full anyway. You're wrong for what you do. And you know what? Days, because evil people, it's not going to last forever. You know? I was always told God don't like ugly. That's true. So, I mean, if the parent hasn't done nothing wrong, and that child's not in imminent danger, it's not like I've seen parents, some of these moms, they put their child in danger by going behind the wheel drunk and driving with that child and getting an accident. That is danger. That is danger. But not just one time. I'm talking about 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times. That is danger. When you put not only the other people in the streets, but you put your own child at risk, that's danger. That right there is a no-no. That's uncalled for. But yet they still run their kids, you know. But yet you got us over here like Dr. Death and them. They say the excuse for what they're doing this to you, Dr. Death. What was it again? It's petty. It's stupid. It's not. It's a family that would love to have their children that's not trying, that is working, and a family that was maybe struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. Look, I'm not afraid. Yeah, hell yeah, I was. But you know what? We were living comfortably, we were happy, and we were fine. But I went to prison, and I'm not afraid to say that to anybody. But you know what? I had to think about my kids' safety, security, and make sure they stayed out of the state's hands. And I thank my family every day for stepping up, you know? Because where would my kids be? I had to think longevity, though. Where would my kids be? Where would my kids be? And when I got out, and 6 months later, I went back up in jail, you know? They'd be in CPS care, right? So I had to think of long term. My probation sentence was over a decade, okay? So that's a long time. So my kids up until they were 18, but I always had my rights and I was always in their life. And that's where, you know, I had to think about my children. I couldn't be selfish, and I couldn't think about myself and what I wanted. I had to think about what they deserved and what they needed and what they damn well deserved to have. But a safe and stable life, something I couldn't provide at the time, and I was going to prison for a while, you know? I mean, you can't, I would think that would be the good thing to do for a child, right? Their safety, security, and stability. Mm-hmm. It ain't right for me to get out of prison and go pick up my children and say, hey, come on, let's go, and drag them around with me while I'm trying to build my foundation again. That's wrong. That's selfish of me. That is cruel, you know? You can't do that to a child. I mean, and then they want to sit here and dock you for it. You know what I mean? I'm just ranting, y'all. Y'all tell me to shut up. Y'all sound embarrassed. I don't know what you guys think. Y'all send the federal courts to define what is neglect. Neglect. They did in the new thing. I believe so, didn't they, Brenda? They did in the new thing. That new bill with that Biden signed. I could have swore they did. Hold on, I'm making a mess. Hold on.
Jeez Louise.
I'm throwing the pots and pans around. Sorry, Ma.
I just wondered if you heard about this, Danielle. Listen to this. 145 people. What the hell's going on over there?
I'm filling the swimming pool now. I'm ready to go swimming at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Might as well, shut up.
Listen to this, Danielle. 145 people reportedly were pricked in a syringe attack at a music festival.
No, are you serious? Athena, what are you doing?
That was in France. But isn't that crazy?
Are you serious? Is that right?
It's true. It happened 2 days ago. Son, tell me about it. No, just YouTube.
So you mean to tell me that they did what?
Somebody went around pricking people with a syringe.
Pricking people with a syringe.
At a music festival.
Wow.
Syringe
Wow.
attack.
Where was that at?
In France.
Oh. Boy, I don't know what's pricking people, huh? So instead of poking, they were pricking. Wow. That's just asking for trouble. And what they do to the person? Because that's bad. That's like, I mean, what if they had to have like something that is spreadable? Like, you know, it can spread easily by switching out, so I don't know, bodily fluids or something.
It says, did you ever hear something called Little Boy Blue, BLU? The Monsters and the Little Boy Blue, the worst Arkansas cases. So,
The worst what?
Arkansas. What is this about? Let me see. See if I can turn this up.
About the year is one of the worst cases involving children out of but be warned, it's going to get very hard to hear the details of this real-life nightmare.
Well, that's another nightmare. See, there's nightmares all over the place, no matter where you turn your head now. I guess there was a White House briefing about 12 hours ago. I don't even know what that was about.
What? White
House briefing. Did you hear about that? I don't know what they're talking about. What is this? The big protest? They're having a big. If you have children in your life, I want you to check out this new book titled The Big Beaver Protest.
Who?
The Big Beaver Protest?
The Big Beaver Protest?
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like something scary.
Talking about. It's the second
scary.
Orange Eagle series, and it's written by.
I like to have a copy of the bill that Biden signed. I got you, Dr. Death. I will. It's as a matter of fact, I think it was SB1. No, it wasn't SB104. I will get it for you, Brenda. Didn't we write that down? It's strengthening. Wait, it's what was it? It was protecting children and strengthening families. But it had to do with Social Security, the 4B, the Title 4B. That's where it would, right, Brenda? It was $75 million came extra with the funding. And there was like, I got it wrote down, but I'll let Brenda finish what she's saying. And I got you. I'll get it for you. Yeah, I got you. Because Brenda, didn't we find out that is one that did not get, one of the executive orders that did not get, like, turned around by Trump when he went in office? Like, that's one that was left to be put. Okay, so yeah, and they said that was the first reform that happened in 15 years with the child welfare. I got it on my phone, the podcast that I heard it on Point is what it's called. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. I can probably send it to you on my other phone. Let me get in here. Oh gosh. Look, I sound like I'm like having trouble over here. Like I'm walking on a walker. Hold on. And it's interesting, Dr. Death. It really is, because it totally like threw me for a loop when I found it. You know, it makes you wonder. You know.
Okay, here. This is what I found. Okay, it's called the Supporting America's Children and Families Act.
Yeah. Yep. And it was signed like January 4th this year, right, or something.
Right. It says January 2025. President Biden signed. This is considered to be a significant reform to a child welfare system and the first major overhaul in 15 years. It reauthorizes the modern.
On Point? Is that from On Point? Which one are you reading from? The On Point one?
I just Googled it. That's all I did.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I mean, if you got something you want to.
I'm trying to find where that podcast where I first heard it, and they were even saying that parents weren't talking about it. Nobody was talking about it, and I'm trying to find that again. It was called like hold on. It was around January 5th, wasn't it, or 4th or something, or January 20th.
It's called Supporting America's Children and Families Act. I think that's what it's called. A key provisions to the act reauthorizes and modernizes child welfare programs, increases funding, supports tribes, focuses on prevention, strengthens support for kin, addresses crisis.
Here we go. Hold on. I found it. I just gotta play it. So. Support for this podcast comes from Can y'all hear it? A podcast from BU Question School of Business. What is short-termism? Is it a buzzword or something that really impacts businesses and the economy? Stick around until the end of this podcast. News, President Biden would have held a signing ceremony at the Oval Office. And every news outlet from CNN, Fox, MSNBC, NPR would have run a story on it. But none of that happened. President Biden had no glitzy signing ceremony. In fact, the reform was signed quietly on a Saturday. And no major news outlet ran even the slightest stories on this bill's passage. If you try Googling federal... Look, I'm going to send you this, and you can play it from your phone, right? It's my food. Let me send you this. But y'all, it's called A New Chapter in America's Child Welfare System. And this is On Point, and it's an On Point podcast. And this was January 20th, 21st, 2025, okay? But let me send this to you, Brenda. And you can play it. Let's see. How the heck? Here we go. You want me to send it on Messenger?
Whatever you want. Yeah, Messenger.
Try to see if you get it on Messenger first. And then I'll send it text too.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, I think you can play it better than I can.
Okay. Make sure
let me know if you got it, and I'll shut up. But
okay.
it's.
Why don't you shut up, Danielle?
I'm going to shut up. I will. Okay,
let's see.
I'm going to be quiet now. Okay.
Okay. Continue. Oh boy, is this going to tell me I have to go install a podcast player? I don't want to do that. Let me see. Why would it make me do that? I don't want to do that. I guess it's going to make me install this, Danielle. I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe it's going to be not long. Continue. Continue with Google.
Did it really?
Yes. Okay. I think I got it.
Okay.
Hopefully. Okay.
The Hoover Dam wasn't built in a day, and the GMC Sierra lineup wasn't built overnight.
At BU Questrom School of Business, a recent episode explores how the current political environment is impacting businesses on the ground. Stick around until the end of this podcast for a preview of the site.
That's it. That's just a.
I think this is it.
News outlet from CNN, Fox, MSNBC, NPR would have run a story on it. But none of that happened. President Biden had no glitzy signing ceremony. In fact, the reform was signed quietly on a Saturday. And no major news outlet ran even the slightest stories on this bill's passage. If you try Googling federal child welfare reform bill gets signed, you really won't find a thing from almost every news outlet in this country, with a couple exceptions, which we'll talk about later. So, blame it on the news media's tilt towards the negative and sensational, which is unfortunate because this reform is a big deal. In its 26 pages, Congress not only added $75 million more to the federal child welfare system annually, beginning in 2026, it also made several major policy shifts, perhaps most importantly, changing the law so that living in poverty is no longer classified as neglect and cannot be used to separate children from their families. And there is much more as well. So today, we want to spend the hour talking about this reform, learning what aspects of it are good news indeed, and what still needs to be done for the hundreds of thousands of children and families who in some way depend on federal child welfare. And later in this hour, we will hear from some of those people. Well, let's start with Zach Laris. He's the founder and executive director at Bolder Horizons, a nonprofit that's focused on child welfare policy and advocacy, and he joins us from Springfield, Virginia. Zach, welcome to On Point.
Thanks so much for having me, Meghna.
So you have described in your website, Child Welfare Wonk, that this is a huge bipartisan victory for children and families. It's the enactment of the Protecting America's Children by Strengthening Families Act. What makes it so huge in your eyes?
What makes this so huge is the shift that it represents to thinking about how we can really focus on helping families before they ever experience a crisis. If you think about the analogy to our healthcare system, the emergency room, the hospital, that's where we have the crisis response, the heroic efforts to intervene when something has already gone terribly wrong. We already have a lot of emphasis and investment in that in child welfare in the form of investigations, crisis response, and foster care. And the big opportunity is really going further upstream. Just like we need to support primary care to be able to help people before they ever get sick, if we can help families before they ever experience that crisis, we're able to avoid it.
So keeping families out of crisis, essentially. I mean, that does sound like a really big deal. I have to say, I struggled a little bit with finding, solid numbers on how many people we're talking about here. I mean, I saw the Anna E. Casey Foundation reported that in 2022, there were 500,000 children in the foster care system. But does this reform touch even more families potentially than that? I mean, how would you classify its hugeness?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think just last week, the Federal Children's Bureau released their updated data on child maltreatment. So we know roughly 7 million children per year are the subject of a report to Child Protective Services. And then from there, there's the process of investigation and figuring out if abuse or neglect has occurred. That's not a neutral experience. So even if there hasn't been any harm for that family, that's a huge disruption to their life.
Okay, so there's a lot of people who come under this umbrella that could potentially feel an impact from this reform. Now, it lives within the Social Security Act, right? And it's lives under something called Title 4B. Can you explain that?
Yeah, what a name, right? It's for something so consequential.
Yeah.
You'd think you would have an exciting, fun name with a nice ring to it. Instead, we get some Roman numerals and letters. So in the Social Security Act, we have lots of major public policy for children and families, and Title IV of the Social Security Act has some huge programs. And so Title 4B is this big federal law that provides investments to support state child welfare agencies and create some sort of ground rules, a floor of standards for how agencies do their work, and then make some really important investments that are very flexible so that states and communities and public-private partnerships can do the work that they know that families need.
Okay. Now, since it's in the Social Security Act, that would mean that it would have had to undergo reauthorization several times, right, in the past 20 years.
Yes, Title 4B is on usually a 5-year cycle, so it goes through updates every 5 years or so, unless Congress, decides to take shorter term extensions, which they've done at times too.
But what I understand is that this. The passage of the Supporting America's Children and Families Act is the first major reform in 15 years? How did that happen?
First major reform in quite a few years. Yeah, I would say there's been several major reforms that this really builds upon. So dating back to the Fostering Connections to Success and Promoting Adoptions Act back in 2008. And then we had the Family First Prevention Services Act in 2018. That was a really big groundbreaking shift where there was a push to say, we really need to follow what the evidence tells us. We know that investing in services to prevent unnecessary foster care is the right thing, gets good outcomes, and also is better for the taxpayer. And this really builds upon that by updating Title 4B. So Family First updated Title 4E of the Social Security Act, which is a separate set of investments primarily in foster care, but now can support some services for families when they're kind of at that front door of child welfare. So there's already a crisis happening, and it's a way to say, we can give you these services so that you can stay safely together. The promise of this bill is to say, let's go further upstream and help you before there even is a crisis.
Okay, but the reform to Title 4B hadn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, it's been some time since we've had this level of change, and 2 decades since we've had any new investments in Title 4B.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the thing that seems to be like a major policy shift. We'll talk about the money in just a second. But in the past, poverty could be a reason to claim that families were neglecting their children and therefore separating them, and that will no longer be allowed under this new law? Explain
It's
that.
incredible, isn't it?
Explain
it's
that.
incredible. So often, families are experiencing many forms of crisis, and one of those can be economic deprivation. And we know that there are major challenges with being able to figure out how to get the services and supports families need to be stable. So if you've got, for example, a child who's coming to school every day for a week wearing the same clothes, and the teacher makes a report to CPS to say, I'm worried about this child, what's going on? If there's an investigation, we find that the challenge is that the family, had their washing machine break and they can't afford to buy a new one, we shouldn't bring that child into foster care. We should get that family a new washing machine and make sure they have what they need to be able to thrive. So we've seen some states make this kind of reform, but we haven't seen this kind of clear directive from the federal government to say poverty alone is not grounds for removing a child.
When you describe it the way you did, it sounds unbelievable that is a reason that children have been separated from their families, but it indeed has happened and happens.
Well, and oftentimes we're talking about complex crises, right? And it's I also will say there are a lot of children who really do need that crisis intervention response, because oftentimes you might have many layers of intergenerational trauma for a family, unmet substance use disorder treatment needs for a parent, domestic violence, a whole variety of factors. And so oftentimes all those things can become entangled. In a weird way, we oftentimes talk about in child welfare, we have an underreporting problem and an overreporting problem. We are overreporting oftentimes low-income families of color who are receiving investigations at disproportionate rates to the population. And at the same time, we have almost 2,000 children a year who die from abuse or neglect. So we really need to be able to dial our system in to identify risk appropriately and intervene in the right way.
And this takes a step in that direction.
This takes a really critical step in that direction.
Okay, so explain to me though, since so many of the touch points for the child welfare system do come through the states, as you've mentioned, regarding this new approach of poverty exclusively cannot be used as a reason to separate families. How is the federal government setting that standard? I mean, what levers are they using to get that message to the states?
Yeah, so the blunt tool that the federal government often is able to use is conditioning the receipt of federal funds on meeting certain standards. So under this program, for example, states every 5 years have a plan that they send to the federal government that outlines everything that they'll be doing and gives the assurances that they have the right rules and regs and requirements on the books. And so this is one of those many things that will be required to be able to demonstrate to the feds when you receive this funding that you're following these rules.
Okay, I see. So then, speaking of funding, there is $75 million more annually that comes with this bill into the federal program regarding child abuse and neglect, or combating that. That seems to be, I mean, in comparison to the defense budget, which is my favorite thing to compare everything to, it seems like literally a drop in an ocean. But how much of a difference would $75 million additional dollars make?
It's a critical step forward. I mean, we're certainly in no danger of accidentally overfunding the child welfare system anytime soon in this country. But we do know that these investments will go a long way toward really helping provide states and tribes the funds that they need to be able to do this important work. And the really critical thing here is that this is a permanent increase in the funding. So going forward, even in future reauthorizations, this is now the floor below which the funding will not go.
Ah, okay. Now we have about a minute before we have to take our first break, Zach. This passed with bipartisan support in Congress. And in fact, I mean, how would you describe the kind of across the aisle support that this reform received?
Overwhelming. The level of bipartisan support and enthusiasm is astounding. This passed the House 405 to 10. It passed the Senate on a unanimous consent vote. Those are renaming a post office type vote levels. You would think that there was really nothing consequential happening here, and yet we have this major step forward. And it's a testament to the bipartisan leadership of so many in Congress that are doing this important work.
Well, we do hope later this hour to hear from one of the representatives that was key in making this new Supporting America's Children and Families Act into law. We hope to hear from him. And later on, we're going to hear from some people who will be feeling the impact of these changes. So, Zach, hang on for just a second. There's a lot more to discuss on what's coming in.
Okay, so what they were saying was it was 405 to 10 in Congress. I mean, those are some pretty big numbers. My nose is running now. But, I mean, that was diving in deep. I mean, we've only went into that 12 or 13 minutes. Yeah, it seems like they're going to do some more in depth, but maybe we could do that on another show as continue that on. Because we've been rolling for a while. I don't know if Danielle is still in the house, but I think we're going to end it here. And if anybody's still out there, I really thank you all for joining. Thank you, Dr. Death, to being so supportive of what we're trying to do and spread the word on children being kidnapped from their biological families, being torn away from everything they known, putting into foster placements, putting them into institutions, putting them into sheriff ranches, and within these Department of Justice programs. We got to be careful with that, guys, because there's a little bit more than meets the eye when a judge that's involved with the juvenile justice. Think about it. How is that connected? Because it's again, it's abuse of a federal program. If you have the Department of Justice housing up to 28 girls in a place called Latchville Academy in Gainesville, Florida, you start to wonder is who's running this show in the Department of Justice that are allowing these kids to be abused, neglected, and treated like prisoners when they did absolutely nothing wrong. Because these are court-ordered, as far as I understand it, that these girls having to be subject to this horrible situation. And maybe they had a little, maybe they have some delays. Maybe they got in some trouble with the law. Maybe they stole something from the store, and all of a sudden they're treated like a murderer or something like that. It doesn't make any sense. Where do we draw the line, people, as far as how people that are standing up in front of judges as well? And in another instance, it makes me think of my husband. There's a guy that was a convicted murderer standing in front of a judge in a courtroom, threatening her with every breath that he took. He was threatening this judge with her life. And the judge didn't change the sentence for the guy, just didn't even look up at him, just messing with her paperwork. And she continued to give him a sentence, even though he was doing all that. And to her, that didn't bother her at all. But some judges might think that they want to stalk people and then take their entertainment and twist it around to some weird kind of way. It's just disgusting, because the truth is that you're the one that's doing the wrong thing. And these judges, I'm sorry to say that it's been going on too long. And I'm sorry that you have a guilty conscience, but things are coming to a head, and you might as well just come out and let everybody know what you did, because maybe things will go better with you, with the guy upstairs, okay? Because that's the guy you got to contend with, is God himself, okay? You might think you're getting away with this stuff in the courts, and you have these people in the courts that aren't doing their jobs and letting this stuff go on and on for years and years. But in the end game, you're gonna have to contend with God, okay? And all you have to do is get into your Bible and know that it won't go good for you. And what I try to do is strive to be more like Christ-like in my life. Okay, try to follow the commandments, and just to try to understand is what God's will is for me, and how that I could help the children. How can I help this country? How can I help myself? How can I make a difference? And I'm just praying that the Lord gives me the answers, because it's been a struggle. It's a struggle, and we got to persevere, and we got to go on. We got to go on, and we can do it, y'all. And probably Danielle is off into sleepy land, and so I'm gonna head out. Hopefully, she's gonna end the show. Are you there, Danielle? Let me see. I'm going to, and like I said, we'll get back to that. Maybe I could do a late show tomorrow, and we can continue that interesting on point podcast about the new chapter in America's child welfare system that nobody seems to be talking about. But you could hear it here, and you heard it live. Coming to you from Brenda, and bringing it back, and bringing all the news as it comes in, and everything that we've got. We'll share it with you in hopes that we can, we should get the states to follow federal case law. Exactly. So that's what I think. In my opinion, Dr. Death, we get these affidavits or what it is you got together. Okay, you got your got your story. You know, this is my story. This is my song. Okay, I'm praising my Savior all the day long, all the way to the federal U.S. attorney in my state, in that county where these crimes are committed against me and my family. And I could take that right in there and go in there and say, attention, you are on notice. Okay, or no, who's got to be on notice? The lower courts are the ones that got to be on notice. But I ain't walking into my local court, because that ain't working for some people, I can tell you. But that's what I'm saying. We go. I would like to take it to the U.S. Federal attorney. That's what I like to do. I mean, you got to get above and beyond with the district attorneys of my Third Circuit in Dixie County, Florida. I mean, it's nothing but crimes. I mean, Trump needs to know about this bullshit that's going on in Third District in Dixie County, Florida. If any of y'all looked it up, 2022, they had some stuff going on. 2016, my husband tries to run for sheriff and ends up taking our kids and ruining our lives and keep throwing us in prison. Then we're over 50 years old. We had no crimes in our life, but all of a sudden, there we are, constantly being jailed, and it's still continuing to today. Why? Because they have a guilty conscience, that we're getting close to the truth of what's going on with these children. I mean, what have they done to our kids? Where are they is the question. Where are the missing children? And why that families that know where their kids are and know that they're with maybe another member of family, or maybe they're in a foster placement, why can't we have free and complete access to our children and our families? Why are they interfering with us and interfering with our right to raise our children as we see fit? Because I think I did a pretty damn good job, and I'm sure all of you out there did a damn good job raising your kids, and you're the best parents in the world. In fact, I think that just goes to show you that you're excellent parents if they've come into your life and just take your babies away from you. That just goes to show you you're probably one of the best parents out there. Probably the best parent in the state where you live, I could guarantee. And that's why they want to take that away from you and try to destroy you as they exploit our children. And it's just a sick world where we're living in, that we can't even get any attention. What do we got to do? Blow off some fireworks for 4th of July? You know, these kids are going to be out there, and they're going to be retaliating because They want to see justice. Not only the parents, they want justice. And they know what's right. And they know what's wrong. Okay? And it's not going to end peacefully if we just don't get our kids
Are
back.
you still live? Oh
I
my
guess.
God. Hey, my bad. I don't know what the hell happened, but
I'm trying
look,
to
I'm just sitting here. I'm like, whoops. I said, where's boy? I said, why am I still hearing Brenda? I said, what the hell? And I was looking, it said live. I said, and she just a jibber jabbering along. I said, you just going along with?
I stopped this little thing. I think we're going to continue another segment with
Okay.
that thing tomorrow. But
Okay.
I'm just
Everybody's wanting to listen to it.
We got to finish it up.
Yeah, about that thing that Biden signed.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Yeah, that is a good podcast. I like the way that they went in.
Uh-huh.
They're going to introduce some people.
Yeah, and some senators from Illinois. But the thing is they say later on in that podcast, they say that we have to be the ones to implement it. We have to push our states and our local governments to implement it. Otherwise, they're not going to do it.
Well, good luck with that, because I swear to God, I don't know if they've put blockers on my phone or little alerts. I think maybe I'll use my spare phone and start calling these senators and congressmen again, like I did throughout all these years, where I got absolutely no.
And like Dr. Death just said, we should get states to follow Fed laws. They're supposed to. They're supposed to, and they're not.
Yeah. Well, we got to bring
the problem
to the fact that they're not.
And that's what they say on that podcast. Like when you'll probably hear it tomorrow. They promote that. They not promote that. They emphasize that we got to be the voice. We got to be the ones to say, hey, otherwise these states are not going to do it. And that's what they're doing right now. They're screwing over the federal government.
And along with the families, right? The families.
Yeah.
And the
children.
I tell you. And they're not using any Vaseline whatsoever, I swear to God.
Right.
Good God.
They're only going to do what they're going to do to benefit themselves. Like what we've already been going through. So if we want the change, we got to be the voice of the change. We got to be the voice of the voiceless. These kids deserve to be at home with their families, and we got to be that voice. We got to be that discipliner. We got to be that enforcer, because otherwise they're not going to do it.
Right.
Like I think it was it Ronald Reagan that said it. We got to be. It's like a car. It's like we're the car. No, they're the car, and we're the driver. We got to run that ship. You know what I mean? We tell them what to do. We just got to have balls to do it.
We've got this, all right? We've got it, and we just gotta. I don't even want to go there with my ideas, with my little innuendos. But I just say, strap it on. Strap it on.
Oh Lord, look, that can be taken in so many ways, woman. Lord Jesus, help us. Brenda's on a roll now. Oh Lord. Watch out, Brenda's bringing it back, y'all. Good shit.
Good Lord.
Y'all, we got to get this. We got to get this party started. We got to do something, because eventually
people free.
This is what I'm afraid of. Eventually, it's going to turn bad. You know what I mean? Eventually, they're going to say, you know what? They ain't going to do shit about it. They ain't doing nothing. These parents ain't doing nothing, and they're going to start coming at us like more than ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have that feeling, y'all, and I mean, tell me if I'm lying.
I think, well, some of us it's already happened. I'm just like,
Yeah.
we can do something before it happens to somebody else.
There's parents out here that are not going to be able to know nothing about, like, that are trying to find out where their kids are. You know what I mean? Like, that still, we don't know where some of these kids are. That we're looking for. Does somebody have the answer? What is it? Because we haven't come together as one. I know that. I mean, because look at, like, even with Gunner's shit. they're doing it themselves, but they're opening that door for everybody else. Well, why can't we just come together as one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The person with the answer is going to be the one to come together as one, not this. Oh well, I'll let y'all do it yourself. I don't agree with that with Gunner's situation. I don't. I don't agree with that at all. But that is him and his wife's doings. I can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if we all was gonna do it, we all got to come together. And I mean, we can't just be in it for ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if we're doing this for the kids, then that's called we unite as one.
And
Unite
it's
means
not
one.
about like, oh, I know more than you and I know more about this than you or whatever. What it is we're all victims and our children are suffering, our families are suffering,
Yep.
and we're, like I say, we just got to come together as
Yep.
one
Yep.
and unite. And
Yep.
it's just like I mean, we could be the new wave of, I mean, what do you got? You got the Marvel comics, you got the DC comics. We have
Yep.
we're gonna be the heroes of
Of the future.
The future.
Is this a new beginning? What is it? What is it? I know it's gonna have to be a game changer somewhere.
Yeah.
Because they can't keep running they can't keep running this like this. Kids are gonna be screwed in the future. There won't be no familial bonds. There won't be no togetherness. There won't be no communities. Think about it.
They'll just end up making
Ain't gonna be shit.
more and more prisons and jails where they can lock everybody up.
Everybody be living like the prison, like a prison life. I've been there, done that, got the certificate. Trust me, you don't want that. People that have been to prison, you don't want that. Our kids that have been in these residents, when they're in foster care, it's just like prison.
That's what you see. You weren't even around, but I was just saying that earlier. How it's just the same. It's just the same.
Well, I saw it. I've lived it, and I also seen it at Devereaux with my son.
Mm.
I mean, he had to request to use the bathroom, and then they wouldn't even be in a hurry to let him use the bathroom, and he'd defecate in himself.
See?
I mean, even when I was in prison, I didn't have to ask to use the restroom. Like, we had just got to go to the bathroom. I mean, this is a grown ass kid that can't even go to the bathroom. It's bad. But he wasn't the only one. There was other kids.
You know what they did with my daughter? Okay, so my daughter was on her period, and they drove her for 4.5 hours to get to the visit. They didn't bring any pads at all with her. She was sitting in the chair, and then in the notes, the lady sits there and takes her little freaking notes, and she said, "My daughter, defecated stuff." When the fact is that she was on her period, and they didn't give her any pads. So
that's bad. That's pathetic.
I'm in my bad. Everything for my kids. On every visit, I bring pads for Sage because I know she's not going to have them. I bring healthy snacks, everything.
Yep.
I was the only one that made home cooked meals for my kids. Is what the lady from the Children's Home Society said. She said, "I never seen anybody be better parents than you and Chris were to your kids." And she couldn't understand why they were putting us through this bullshit.
I mean, that's like with my son. People can't believe that they sent him 4 states away. They can't believe that they fucking even listened to this family member. Like, but I've got 2 other kids that weren't taken. They weren't put in foster care. If I'm such a bad mom, why wouldn't my other 2 kids taken? Right?
And that's what
I that's what I thought that they were supposed to do.
I have a whole new generation of kids. When we had children when we were young, and I successfully parented them. Well, how do you think that would have changed within a few years? How do you think that I can't take care of my kids now?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry. Parenting doesn't come with an instruction manual. Neither does life. They need to get their shit straight out of that.
Yep.
Parenting does not come with an instruction manual. It's not like you can go to Walmart and get a refund, whenever you want to. No, it don't work like that. It's called you buck it up and you suck it up and you be a mom or dad, you want to, we brought those kids in this world. Why in the hell would we want to put them at risk,
Yeah, exactly.
Why the hell would you want to sit there and put your child at risk? I wouldn't want to.
Mm-mm. In fact, we did we're what you
I
call
want nothing but the best for my kid.
we were overprotective.
Oh yeah, my mom was too. Trust me. And here I am. I'm living it right now. I'm very protective of my youngins, even though I'm not around.
Right.
I mean, I'm around, but even though I'll be from the sideline, I don't care. I'm their biggest cheerleader. I was the loudest one at my daughter's graduation, and I got in trouble. Look, as soon as my aunt seen me, boy, it was over. Look, she said, "You," and my aunt did him. Phew, I was gone. Gotta go, but at least I got to see my daughter graduate. Oh yeah, I was like that little rascal on the Tasmanian Devil or something. Phew, little
You
the
were
Red
out
Runner.
of there like a hurricane.
Like, yo, yeah, beep, 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 beep. You know, I was gone. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hot. Woo. I finally got done with my spaghetti.
All right, yeah. Now you eat your spaghetti, and I'm gonna do some work tonight on some things I need to get together for my husband's stuff. All right. So thanks for throwing.
Sounds good, and we'll end the show, and everybody, y'all have a good night, and we will continue this on tomorrow. Be on the lookout for the notifications, y'all, and y'all have a good evening. We love you, and just keep your head up and stay strong and keep up the fight, y'all, because we ain't backing down. Dr. Des, you need to reach out. You're more than welcome to. I'm gonna feed my brother and feed Daryl, and everyone have a good. And Brenda, I send you some airmail, but the pigeons aren't. Well, she took off. Okay, well, she don't get enough spaghetti either. Then I'm just kidding. But y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all later on today, sometime. And I wish y'all a good afternoon, and I will see y'all soon. Happy Sunday. Wait, today's not Sunday. What is today? Happy Friday. Did I really say Sunday? Wow. Happy Friday. And we're going to get this party rocking. Love y'all. If you need me, reach out. See y'all soon. Bye, everybody.
I'm just your average parent trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.